Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Kian and it has been a while since I've posted on here, and I thought I would share what I've been up to, why I've been gone, and finally get to share on a project that I've been working on behind the scenes. Okay, let's circle back to my month off social media. During this time, I was really asking God to give me clarity and direction with my job and my income. I felt like I was in a spiral of just always constantly having to rely on new brands for my income, and therefore always having to sell you guys things in the process. I was definitely compromising on the brands I was posting, and yeah, it just felt like this endless cycle of consumerism that I was pushing out to my followers. And a lot of the things I was sharing is things that I really felt like people didn't need, or it's just not something maybe I would personally spend money on. So how could I keep recommending things to people that I personally wouldn't pay for with my own money? And so during that month off, I was really just praying about how can I create income outside of brand deals. And the Lord just reminded me of this idea I've had on my heart for a long time. If you don't know, I own a company called Sunday Matters, and right now our only product is a church notebook. We actually only have a few left, and then they're going to be discontinued. I may revamp them in the future and come back out with more, but if you guys do want a church notebook, I think I have like 10 left, so they might still be available. I'll have a link in the description. But yeah, I own Sunday Matters, and that's the only product I've had for years. And honestly, it did not make me any money. I think I lost money in the long run on them, but I just really love the idea of a beautiful aesthetic church notebook. The problem is the church notebook is not something I'm super passionate about, and I'm not a note taker, especially with a young baby. When I go to church, there was no time for me to take notes. And so it's really just hard to promote a product genuinely if you're not using it and super passionate about it. And so I have had this other idea in the back of my head, just haven't put the time and energy to pursue it. And that idea is conversation cards for Christians specifically. And I think there are a few companies out there who might be doing this already. However, I've just always been so passionate about conversation and creating deep conversation. It's actually not something I used to be very good at. Growing up, I was pretty awkward. I felt like I didn't know how to communicate, especially with adults. And so I used to Google questions to ask people, especially adults. I remember the boy I was dating, I didn't know how to talk to his parents, and I would Google questions before I went over to help give me ideas of what to talk about. And so that was kind of when my love for questions began. Before question cards were even a thing, I referenced books with questions in them. I was going on dates and looking up questions on Google. And then as these conversation card products came out, I own probably like 6 or 7 decks of conversation cards, and I love using them with friends when me and Kyle go on a date. So I've been using conversation cards in my, everyday life for years, and I just thought something that was really missing was ones specific for Christians. Which brings me to what I have been working on the past month and why I've been MIA. I have just been pouring my heart and soul into making conversation cards for Christians. So I will be launching Marriage Matters and Friendship Matters, 2 different decks. One is for friendship and one is for marriage, obviously. These decks are definitely very unique in comparison to all the products out there right now. The first thing that really sets them apart, in my opinion, is the follow-up questions. And so there is one question on the card, a follow-up question, and then a scripture that has to do with it. So my goal with these question cards is not to be able to get through the whole deck as fast as possible. It's really that one of these questions could spark an hour-long conversation with a friend or within your marriage. because there are follow-up questions, I feel like I'm training people on how to have really deep conversations, because as a young girl, I don't think I was taught really how to communicate with people well and hold conversations. And I think that's something a lot of us struggle with. And so another hope within this is that these conversation cards will help train people on how to have deep conversations, how to be good at asking questions, how to be thoughtful in the way you approach conversations, and ultimately just lead to really deep connection offline, just in person with people. Yeah, I envision people using these in so many different ways. Another thing that God was really doing in my heart during that month off was repositioning my heart when it came to finances and money. And one thing he convicted me on during that time was to not go into debt to create this product. And so that is why I am bringing this to you guys, to help me get it off the ground. So I decided to start this project on Kickstarter, and essentially my goal is to raise $5,000 so that I can put this product into production. If you sign up to the Kickstarter, you're basically committing to buy one of the decks. There's a bunch of different options to choose from, and the Kickstarter page will be launching soon. The only thing I'm waiting for is to have physical samples, just to ensure that you guys get a true representation of what the products are going to look like, because right now I only have some mock-up photos, which are so beautiful, but I just want to ensure that they're going to look like that. So I can't officially launch the Kickstarter until those come in. But if you guys go to the link in the description, you can sign up to be notified as soon as the Kickstarter launches. Basically, how Kickstarter works, it's an all or nothing. So I have 30 days to reach my goal of $5,000. And if I don't reach the goal, then I don't get any of the money. Everyone gets a refund, and then the product don't end up getting made unless I decide to try to launch the Kickstarter again. So it's really important that I have as much support in this beginning phase as possible, because it's really what's going to make the project come to life. And I truly believe this product will benefit people's lives so much. I'm really, really passionate about it. And I've been testing out the questions within my marriage, within my small groups, and just getting the most amazing feedback from my friends who have also used it in their own conversations. So I'm just really excited the ripple effect that this will have once this product gets into the hands of more Christians around the world. I definitely need your support. So if you are interested in being a part of the launch of this product, definitely go sign up on the landing page just to get notified on updates and when everything launches. My goal is to have the Kickstarter launch September 1st by the latest, maybe a little bit sooner. There's going to be a ton more information about the decks and what to expect and the type of questions there are on the Kickstarter page. So I won't share all of that in this video, but I just wanted to come to you guys and share this passion project and invite you to be a part of it and support it. If you are a small business owner, maybe you own a boutique and would love to carry some in your stores, there is a Kickstarter option for you. If you just want to buy one deck, or maybe you just want the digital copy of the deck, there's so many ways you can support the Kickstarter, so definitely get signed up. I'm going to make the price point as low as possible for you guys. Since I only have a couple days a week to work, this is what I've been dedicating all my time into the last few months, and I'm excited to start making videos a little bit more regularly moving forward once this really gets off the ground and launches. But yeah, I'm really, really excited about it. I hope you guys are too. Other than working on this product, we had some family in town, and so that always derails me from YouTube a bit, just because it's a little bit harder to film when people are visiting, because we want to host them and just, take them around and be out of the house a lot to show them everything on Maui. But moving forward, we don't really have any travel coming up, nobody visiting coming up. So I think we're going to have a nice few months to just really settle in to life. Okay, moving on, let me talk a little bit about my thoughts on our trip to Australia. I actually did some camcorder footage while I was there, so maybe I'll insert that as I'm sharing. I definitely loved Australia. It was very, very beautiful. I personally thought Sydney was like the coolest city I've probably ever been to. One, because it's so laid back. Like, there was hardly any traffic. There was no cars really beeping, which, if you've ever been to a city in the States, like Chicago, New York, it's like the sound of traffic is like the background noise. Like, all you're hearing all day is cars beeping. I was shocked at how little like traffic there was and noise pollution there was in the city of Sydney. It was also very clean. I hardly saw any homeless people. And obviously the aesthetic of just like beach meets city was really cool. That's something I really appreciate. And another really cool thing I thought about Sydney was that ferries are a part of public transportation. So I just thought that was so unique, and it was so fun to be able to just like hop on a ferry and get to a different part of the Sydney area. So I really, really enjoyed Sydney. I definitely tend to get a little bit more stressed when I'm traveling to cities just because it's so opposite of Maui. So from going to a very slow paced life with not many people and not major cities to a city, I definitely notice a spike in my stress levels. So that's definitely something I had to combat while there. And I was also trying to meet some work deadlines. So yeah, a few parts of the trip were a little stressful, but overall Sydney was amazing. It was so fun to just eat out a lot and try so many different foods and coffee shops. Like, the coffee culture there is amazing, and that was definitely one of my favorite things about visiting. We did go to the aquarium in Sydney, and Legend was obsessed. I think that was definitely the highlight of Sydney, was the aquarium. It was a really epic aquarium, and it was just so fun to see Legend just light up at all of the animals there.
Say hi, fishy. Say hi, fishy. Yeah. Say hi, mommy.
Hi. Hi, Daddy. Then we went over to Byron Bay, and honestly, we flew in to Byron Bay, and me and Kyle got in a fight the first night we were there. I think it was very interesting. I felt super spiritually heavy in Byron Bay. It's definitely more new age there, so I think that was like just the spiritual heaviness I was feeling. But I was really shocked at I was expecting Byron Bay to feel kind of like this light, beachy town, like surf town, which it does have those aspects, but the spiritual heaviness was kind of wild. I honestly didn't realize that Australia was such a secular country, because everyone I met from Australia is Christian usually. Like, all my friends who went to Bible college there, like, and just people I end up meeting from Australia end up being Christian. So that was definitely a bit of a shock. When we were in Byron, we did get to go to a church, which was so nice, because in that church was seriously the only time I felt like that spiritual like peace. The rest of the time felt very heavy, and yeah, I just wasn't expecting it. One of my favorite things we did on this trip was rent bikes, and we got one with a baby seat on it, and Legend became obsessed with bikes through this trip. That was definitely some of my favorite memories, was going on these bike rides. We ended up getting to explore Byron a little bit on bike. We went to this lovely beach. Although it was winter in Australia, it was a little bit warmer on these coastal towns, so Byron, we were able to swim in the very cold water one day in Byron, which was nice. After Byron, we ended up driving up to Noosa Heads. And on the way up there, we stopped at SeaWorld. We got to go on some of the kids' rides, which was like Legend's first experience going on rides, which was really fun. He got to see more ocean animals. We got to see a dolphin show, which was really sweet. And then we got to Noosa Heads. I feel like Noosa was way more like upscale vacation vibes. It definitely felt like almost like the show Outer Banks. That's kind of what that town felt like. A lot of people lived along this like these canals and had boats docked up to their house. So instead of taking, you know, their car, they would just hop on their boat and drive it to downtown. So I really enjoyed Noosa. It was definitely felt a little bit more commercialized, but after going to Byron Bay, which felt very dark spiritually, it was kind of nice to just be in this like ritzy, a little bit lighter spiritually place. It just really felt a little bit more like a relaxing vacation there. So Noosa was really lovely. It was so beautiful with all the canals. My favorite thing we did there was actually hire a boat for a couple hours. And it was actually really affordable, which was nice. So Kyle was able to drive us around, and Legend loved being on the boat. We grabbed some takeout food, took it on the boat, and just went for a little sunset drive around the canals there. So that was really, really fun. Would definitely recommend that. Something I really loved in Byron and Noosa were all of the markets. I feel like the shopping is just amazing, especially at the markets. Both places we went to had really lovely markets that had a lot of handmade things and just secondhand pieces and just a lot of unique small businesses. So that's something I really enjoyed because Maui just doesn't have that kind of shopping. After Noosa, we ended up driving back to Brisbane and flew back to Sydney. And then from there, we stayed a few nights in Bondi. Bondi was definitely my favorite Airbnb. It was such a cute Airbnb. It felt very just aesthetic and clean, which I feel like always just boosts the vacation. I actually loved Bondi beach area. I thought it was just such a cool blend of beach life meets city. It reminded me of some of the towns in California. It was a bit rainy when we got to Bondi. There was like a storm coming in. So we definitely tried to make the best out of it. I definitely, if I could go back, I think it would have been better to visit Australia when it was a little warmer, because I think some of the best parts about Australia are the really cool swimming spots. And like the walks you can go on. And so I think if we were able to really enjoy the beaches there, it would have taken it to the next level. But it was nice because it just wasn't very crowded, at least. So that was a perk of going in the wintertime. And we live on Maui, so we have beaches all year round. So it was a little bit nice change of pace to get a little cozy and cold during their winter. One of my favorite places we went to in like the suburbs, I don't know if it's the suburbs of Sydney, but was Cronulla. We drove there the day we were flying out and we rented bikes there, and it just felt like a very nicely concentrated, family-friendly town. It was very walkable and bikeable, so we ended up renting some e-bikes when we were in Cronulla, and we got to do a really long bike ride there. And that was the last day we left. So that was definitely a highlight of my trip too. I know a lot of you have been here since my single diaries when I was like dreaming of moving to Australia. So I know a lot of you guys were excited to hear what my thoughts were. Also wanted to say hello to someone named Rowena. I hope I'm saying that correctly, but she actually met a couple people from the church I go to, and she sent them home with a letter. Just wanted to say that I got your letter and thank you so much. I would love to come back to Australia and have you show me around, but wanted to say a little shout out to you and thank you for all your sweet words in the letter you sent. All right, guys, that is going to be all for today's video. It was so much fun catching up and sharing this God dream with you. I'm just so excited about the possibilities that could come from this, and I appreciate your support so much, and I'm just so grateful that I'm able to do this and get to pursue all these amazing dreams with your guys' help. So I love you guys, and remember, Jesus loves you more. Bye.
I love Miss Peggy. Peggy the Penguin's my favorite. Can I ask you a question, Reggie? Can you give me a high five? Oh, good job. Can you give Daddy a kiss on the cheek? Oh, thank you.
Mama.
Can you give Mama a kiss on the cheek?
Thank you.
Can you give Gru a kiss? Mwah. Thank you. Now, I have a question for you. Oh, hi, Miss Piggy the Penguin. You're my best friend. No, I'm just kidding. You're my best friend, Reggie. You know that? Oh, I love Miss Piggy the Penguin. Where are you going?
Mama.
Hey, Leggy, can I ask you a question? Can you show me your feet? Where are your feet? Oh, right there. Good job. Can you show me your hands? Where are your hands? Oh, I'll get her. I got her. Where's your nose? Can you show me your nose? There it is. Good job. It's on your head. Oh, what are we gonna do about that? Nope. I got her. I got her. Guess what? It's on my head. Oh no. Up little head. There's a penguin on. Oh, there's a penguin on Daddy's head.
Legend's head.
That was on Legend's head.
Mama's head.
Now, Legend, I got something really